Hello, and thank you for joining our recruitment webinar. My name is Sean Phillips. I'm the Director of Engineering here at Deep Trekker. Big part of my job is to recruit, find talented and smart engineers to join our team of talented and smart engineers. It's also a requirement that you're a good person, as we consider ourselves. I'll give you a little bit of background about the company. We've been around for about 10 years. Basically, your story of a basement startup, bootstrapped, basically immediately profitable. Set off to a really good start, and then year after year, we continue to grow. And if you fast forward to today, we have over 50 people in the Canadian facility here and a smaller operation down in Chile. So, the growth opportunities are quite good. We continue to grow. The future looks good. We are looking to add to our engineering team, as I said, for a few new exciting positions in full stack development, some front end development, some UI, UX, and we're also looking for some technicians. The layout of today's webinar will be myself introducing, and then we will talk to a number of different engineers. And they can describe to you who they are and what they do here at Deep Trekker and what their day-to-day life is like. Throughout the webinar, there will be a QA button on your screen that you can use to ask questions, and we encourage you to do so. We will also be posting survey questions. So up next is Chad Pleshanadin. He is one of the first hires, actually, outside the management group for the company about 4 years ago, and he's now our team lead of embedded systems. Thank you and enjoy.
Hi, everyone. As Sean mentioned, my name is Chad Pleshanadin. I am the current team lead of the embedded systems team here at Deep Trekker. I've been with the company about 4 years, one of the early hires, really starting to embrace the new technology path for Deep Trekker and grow our engineering team as a whole. I'm a graduate of the University of Waterloo, of the mechatronics engineering program. Went through the co-op program, so got plenty of experience there. And there's no better place to end up as a mechatronics student than in a robotics company itself. So here at Deep Trekker, we work on tons of exciting robotics problems, ranging from bare metal C programming on our microcontrollers in our ROVs here, such as our Revolution product, and also embedded Linux on our hand controller here, which operates all of our platforms. So there's a vast array of technology bases for our engineering team to work on, varying from very low-level programming to some user experience, higher-end programming there. So as mentioned, we're looking for some full-stack developers, along with some other roles. That's primarily focused on development on our hand controller here, a lot of embedded Linux programming, developing in Qt with QML, C++, all those sorts of things. Pretty exciting opportunity all around. Lots of user interaction, understanding how our products are used in the industry, and figuring out the technical solutions for the product features. So we'll mention some of the other team members will mention some of the other unique problems we've got going on, some autonomous challenges that we've got, and really interesting development going on. Phil will touch on that. We've also got our current product engineering lead, Sasha, who will talk about the plenty of product-related feature developments that we've got with having customers using our products daily and getting constant feedback and us searching for ways to innovate and improve our products. And then Vishal will talk more about our embedded Linux and some of the technical details there. So without further ado, I think we'll get Phil in here to answer any autonomy questions and to kind of talk about what that looks like for Deep Trekker. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Phil. I'm the Controls and Autonomy Engineer at Deep Trekker, and I work on developing the control algorithms that really bring these ROVs to life. So my background is in mechanical engineering and software development, and here, as I mentioned, I work on software development and control architecture implementation. So ROVs, and robots for that matter, are really a collection of circuit boards, wires, motors, some mechanical components, and some batteries. And on their own, that's really just a bunch of parts, and it won't really accomplish many of your goals. What you need to add to robotic systems to really bring them alive are control algorithms, right? So the idea behind the control algorithms is that we can give robots and ROVs a goal and allow the robots to figure out the best way to actually accomplish that goal and to get do all of the interesting things that you've seen online with many different robots. So some examples of the control algorithms that I work on at Deep Trekker can be as low level as individual servo control. So say, for example, we have an ROV like the Revolution here in the water, and we want to hold the camera up at 45 degrees. I'd be implementing the control algorithms to hold that camera at that angle while the ROV is moving around and driving. I also work a lot with drive feel of the robots. So because we have many customers that use these robots for several hours a day, every day, the robots really need to feel good when you drive them. So I do a lot of work on drive feel, making sure the robots are responsive and that movement is predictable and nice. A good portion of my work is on very high-level control as well. So stuff like autonomous driving, right? So robots like the Revolution here, they need to have autonomous behavior to be able to travel to specific GPS waypoints on a map that we might be placing and have the robot drive all the way down those waypoints and kind of do an autonomous mission on its own. So those are all kind of different areas of controls that I work on. And I could talk a bit about what my actual day-to-day looks like. So some days I might be sitting at my desk, working through equations, thinking about velocities and inertia and how much power we have available on thrusters or motors and how we can best use the sensor data that we have and integrate it with our control algorithms and really get the robot to complete the tasks that they're supposed to complete. But I also work on software design and development to actually accomplish these control objectives. So I touch a bit of both of those sides. A good portion of my day, or of some of my days, is also spent doing more hands-on work, right? I don't only sit at a desk. I spend some time either getting new sensors and installing them on robots and taking my control algorithms and integrating them onto systems and testing them out at our testing pool, either on site, or I often go out to lakes or open water to really bring our robots on in real life environments to see how they're going to perform in kind of situations that are closer to what our customers would see. So as you can kind of understand, my day-to-day activities are quite broad, but I think that's what interests me most about working at Deep Trekker. Every day I can show up and work on something different, and I'm not stuck focusing on a very narrow problem every day, which is really the most fascinating and interesting portion of my job, I think. So hopefully that has given you a bit of an overview on what I work on day to day. Now I'll introduce Sasha to come and talk about some current products.
Hi everyone, my name is Sasha. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Apparently the mic doesn't work when you drop it. So here at Deep Trekker, I'm in charge of the current product engineering. Essentially, that means I take care of the current products that are currently being sold. So when issues come up either in production or in service or straight from the customers that require engineering support, I'm usually the liaison and in charge of making sure those problems get solved. I was a student at the University of Waterloo a little while ago, taking mechatronics engineering. And after graduating, I actually landed my first full-time job outside of school right here at Deep Trekker, and was actually a co-op student here as well in my last term. So I've spent quite a bit of time here at Deep Trekker. Some of the projects I've been able to work on while I was here is the G3's vertical thruster attachment. So you'll see here in the pool, we have our G3, which has a patented counterweight system inside of it, which allows it to rotate up and down, which allows you to take your two lateral thrusters and turn them into vertical thrusters, and therefore have be able to swim in the entire water column. But something that was required by some of our customers was a little bit more precision when moving up and down. And so what we did is we added a vertical thruster on the back of our G3, but only one. So as you can imagine, if you put a force on one side of a body, that force tends to be unbalanced. And so that usually causes the whole G3 to want to rotate about its center. And so that was a really fun controls problem to sort of attack, where we use the counterweight system inside of the G3 to counteract the forces caused by that unbalanced vertical thruster at the back, and therefore allow us to move up and down with just that one thruster very precisely. And so that's one of the features that was added onto a current product, which was a lot of fun to implement. Another part of my role here at Deep Trekker, a little while ago, I joined the Flatmates committee here at Deep Trekker. Flatmates is essentially a group that organizes events, like fun events after work, for all of the employees here, to sort of enhance our company culture and allow us to get together to do various fun things. In the past, we've done everything from soccer matches to snow tubing in the winter at Chicopee, to going to the lake for a swim, just various fun activities. Pre-COVID anyways. Hopefully once it's safe again, we hope to start that up and go back to having tons of fun events. There's also usually pizza, which is always great. So yeah, that's what I do here at Deep Trekker. So now I'll introduce Vishal, and he's here to talk about our Linux side of things.
Hey everyone, my name is Vishal. I'm part of the embedded systems team here at Deep Trekker. I primarily work on the controller side of the development here. I've been here for about 3 years now. Before that, I graduated from the University of Waterloo through electrical engineering. And throughout my program there, I had about 6 different co-ops where I got to dabble in different hardware and software experiences. And one thing I found from my co-ops was that I really enjoyed working at the particularly smaller companies. I found with smaller companies, you generally get more responsibility right off the bat, and you get to work on problems that are really directly related to the company's products and goals. So that's what drew me to Deep Trekker in the first place about 3 years ago, and I've been working here ever since. So when I started here, the engineering team was quite small. There was only a couple of other developers, and it was very early on in the project where our first task was to basically develop this hand controller that you see over here. There was only a couple other developers. It's a embedded Linux platform, and personally, I had very little experience with embedded Linux or Linux altogether. But based on just the constraints and getting things done, I picked things up pretty quick, and now it's been a couple of years here and kind of become the in-house embedded Linux expert. At least that's what they call me. It just kind of goes to show that within a few years here at Deep Trekker, you can really become an expert at something, and if you're really hungry for learning, the opportunity is there for you. With respect to our kind of day-to-day development on the controller and the type of technology that we use, Chad mentioned it a bit earlier, but we use Qt for developing our GUI. So this is the graphical user interface that you see on this controller here with all the menuing and such. Qt is a graphical framework that allows you to develop in C++ for the back end and JavaScript/QML in the front end. So that's what we use for developing our GUI. We also use other tools such as GStreamer. GStreamer is a multimedia framework that allows us to really manipulate and manage and really fine-tune our video pipelines. As you know, all of our robots have cameras on them, so there's a lot of video management going on. For example, things like our live display here with really low latency, our HDMI output of this controller. We do video recording as well as network streaming through the LAN port. So GStreamer helps us with all that stuff, and that's something I work really closely with here. Another tool we use is Yocto. Yocto is a open source project which basically allows you to highly customize exactly what goes into an embedded Linux operating system. And that's what we use to create a very optimized and tightly knit operating system which runs on this controller over here. So those are the types of problems that I come across and the type of work that I do here. So yeah, I hope that gave you a good overview. All right, so I'll now hand it back to Sean if there's no other questions, and he'll continue the rest of the webinar.
hello again. I hope that was informative and helpful to give you a good sense of what it's like to work at Deep Trekker, especially in engineering, and what the day-to-day life is like. I think it's actually a pretty good gig, if I don't say so myself. Yeah, I think the key takeaway was that there's a lot of meaningful work people can do here in the engineering team and really any role at Deep Trekker. Lots of opportunity for growth and learning, and it requires a very ambitious mindset. The other thing that was mentioned too a little bit is the flatmates, the culture we have here. We do have a policy that, to come in the door and work with us, you have to be a good person to work with, and people who come here definitely pick up on that we have a lot of good people. I can genuinely say that I think many of our employees are friends, and that drives the DT culture and the flatmates and the activities that we did more so we did before the pandemic. We hope to pick up again when allowed. So once again, we are looking for very ambitious and smart, good people to join the team. So thank you again for participating in this. We appreciate it. I hope it gives you a really good idea of what we're about here. And I think it's just a lot of cool stuff, hard work, and fun. Enjoy the rest of your day.